A very good evening, everyone, and we hope that you are having a fantastic Diwali time. Today, we are having one of the most prolific conversations on Ador Loveshots channel, where we have invited one of the founders of fastest growing warehousing ventures of India, Arun Pandit ji, and I have been following him since last 1.5 years, and there have been lots of learning in terms of, say, the personal mindset, in terms of professional career, and it's such an inspirational personality to learn from him. And he has not only led one or two initiatives, but he has aced in multiple projects. Like he is also a co-founder of Don't Give Up World. On top of it, he has pursued from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, where he was leading the entrepreneurship cell. On top of it, he has worked as CXO in startups, multiple startups, and on top of it, it's just a plain inspiration to watch him daily through his content over LinkedIn, Instagram, and derive lots and lots of inspiration from him. It's just a plain privilege to have him today on Ador Loveshots Conversation. And thanks a lot, Arun, for joining. Like, it's just a plain privilege to have you today. Like, we don't have any words to express this sort of happiness. It's like, I had been like very closely associated with IFT, and my batchmates know how much sort of reverence I hold for my alma mater. And seeing you, like when I first came to know about you over LinkedIn, and I was like, he led entrepreneurship cell at IFT campus, and then I saw your profile, and I saw your photographs website, Don't Give Up World, and I was completely inspired at that moment. I don't have any words to express it. We never talked in person, but that was like one of the moments where I was like, such an inspiring story, so much of activities and so much of projects and so much of energy and rigor, and I was like so much of driven with optimism and positivity when I first came to learn about you. It's just a plain privilege to know you over social media handles, and also interact with you and gain advices from you. And we have a completely privilege to have you today on Ador Loveshots.
I thank you. That first of all, please my sincere apologies. You've been chasing me for I think over 4 or 5 months, and unfortunately, some or other things stuck. And so my sincere apologies for the delay, but I hope I can make it up today.
No,
Yeah.
no. It's just we are pretty much we were excited to have you, so we never give up on persisting because we wanted to talk and discuss at length, and we were very much sure that we'll bring you one day on Ador Loveshots, and it happened today. So no words to express this particular the vibe that we are having for today's conversation. Arun will like to know a bit, like once we start, we'll like to know more about your background, how it all started, like and how you got into entrepreneurship. If you can just help us understand, from like your childhood. Yeah.
From childhood. So primarily when I was young, there was no word called entrepreneurship per se. I mean, at least not in my vocabulary, and
Yes,
I
yes.
didn't hear it anywhere, whether it's in newspaper. I was an avid reader.
Hmm.
When I was in fourth standard, I had read around 400 plus novels, and I had bought
Okay.
them both. And so reading was a very
Hmm.
good habit, and reading helped me. So my father was very good with grammar, and my sister is also very good with grammar. She is the currently the heading social media for the Vice President of India. So,
Okay.
but I was very poor with grammar in the sense of the grammar rules which were there. So
Understood.
what I used to do was I used to read a lot. So I had built an inherent ability to understand what is right, what is wrong, but I
Hmm.
didn't know the logic behind it. So once you read a lot, there's an ability
You
that
get
builds.
this.
You might not
Yeah.
know the grammar. Yeah, you might not know the grammar rule per se, but you know this is right and this is wrong.
This is
So from very beginning, I was like more into reading, and during my school days, sixth, seventh, eighth, I used to conduct tournaments, cricket tournaments per se. So I organized cricket tournaments between smaller kids, got some fees from them, took a commission. So I was very good with respect to people. And I do not know whether you call it entrepreneurship or not, but there was one, you can say, step towards taking initiatives which could earn some money and which could and was good with respect to branding. I mean, at that particular point of time, I didn't know the word branding per se, but getting the multiple stakeholders together, creating a buzz about that event, conducting it time and again, so that people are interested to be a part of it. So probably that would be the initial baby step towards entrepreneurship. But technically, during my engineering days, I started Don't Give Up World. So I started Don't Give Up World as a, you can say, 6 months project. So it's an internship project. So I just had an, you can say, earlier I had an SMS group, which had around 200 members in the first year. So I used to send motivational quotes daily by SMS through a platform called Gupshup, Webaru. So Gupshup is a unicorn right now. So I met him. So these people called me to their office in order to pitch to some of their investors. They wanted to take an overview about their publishers, etc. So I realized that first year it was 200 members. Second years it came to around, I think, 2000-ish. And three and a half years it was 1.5 lakh members. So that was the power of stupendous exponential growth that happened. So how it happened was, in the first year I used to send motivational quotes on a daily basis. Then I thought, why not get people involved? So I asked people to share quotes which were there at that particular point of time. Internet was not very
it was just there, so getting.
SMS was the main medium of communication. Internet was very, very expensive, and there was no chat platforms per se. So SMS was the way to communicate. So I asked people to send their quotes also. So I used to send a reference there. For example, I was crying of having no shoes until I saw a man without feet by XYZ, sent by Udit Shah.
Understood.
By Udit.
So they will get their branding.
Yes. So there was an SMS connected world, and there was some names which cropped up because they were regular contributors.
Understood.
So it was like, no one for example, no one has met Udit, but people know that there is some Udit who regularly contributes there. So there is a sense of well-being, a sense of, you can say, appreciation that these people got, and that helped in a spiral effect, positive word of mouth, and it started to increase, and it became India's biggest SMS platform, as a motivational SMS platform.
That's great.
But the challenge with SMS was that it was very restricted to quotes only. So if it is very restricted to quotes, so what happens is, quotes is good, but different people have got different motivational needs. Maybe Udit is motivated by a motivational song, and maybe I'm motivated by a poem, and someone is motivated by a movie or plethora of things.
Or something.
Blogs, stories, whatever. So different people have got different motivational needs. So getting confined only to, you can say, quotes was a limited thing. So I thought that I'll build a website, and at that particular point of time I was not aware of, I didn't have a credit card. I knew that GoDaddy at that particular point of time was not in India, it was in US. So I searched, I got to know that GoDaddy is there. So at an initial level, I just knew that I wanted to create a website which has got poems, videos, quotes, stories, etc. So a bigger, you can say, assortment of motivational related needs of different people, content primarily. So I bought the domain through one of my friend's credit card, and I thought that the website is not working. So I bought don'tgiveup.in at that particular point of time, because at that particular point of time I was not even aware that you have to connect a domain to a website space. I thought
it's very new thing for internet and everyone.
So long back, around 2007, 2008. So I thought that if you buy a domain, then you put the code into it. So I understood code, etc. But I was not aware, it was not in the curriculum about servers, etc. Then gradually I realized that, okay, you have to buy space. Then I had to code at that particular point of time. I built the website on HTML coding, learned CSS, etc. But then it became very heavy. I mean, building every single code intensive, very time consuming. So if I wanted to go at scale, it was difficult. Then I understood what a CMS is, utilize CMS. So gradually learned. So the basic funda was that I wanted to spread the word of hope and optimism. I knew that. How to do it, I was not aware. But I knew that the other thing that I knew was it can be done. So if it can be done, then I can also do it. Maybe I need to just figure out the way to get it done. So technically, Don't Give Up World then became our college best project. It was the highest awarded project, and
Okay.
then and through which we started to spread the word of hope and optimism to multiple people. Got published in multiple newspaper magazines, selected amongst the top 12 social innovations in India by Tata Institute of Social Sciences. So a lot of things happened, and that gave me a sense of confidence. But at that particular point of time, it was not a commercial activity for me.
It was just like
because,
posting content and building a community.
yes, so it was more with respect to, because at one particular point of time in my life, I faced a lot of you can say obstacles, and I felt that I was like a hit me doll. So whenever I tried to get up, I would again be hit. You understand the hit me doll concept? No, for kids, you punch it, it has got weight at the bottom, it goes down, it comes back again, you punch it again. So I thought that I was like a punching bag, a hit me doll, which is meant to rise and fall again and again and again and again. So at that particular point of time, a lot of things happened. To cut the story short, I thought that let me take the short way to heaven, because I've tried my level best. And when people are down and depressed, shit happens. And although many people would say that this is a small thing, this is a big thing, but at that particular point of time, the small thing can get magnified to the biggest thing for that particular person.
And so, for you, it matters how much important it is for you. That's the power.
So it might. Agreed. So it might be a trivial thing for some others, but it can be the biggest of the things for the other person. So what I realized at that particular point of time, that at least I was good with respect to people, not the HR kind of you can say that you're good with connecting with people. I could bring people together. I could build a sense of community, a sense of togetherness amongst people. But my main aim was to spread the word of hope and optimism, because I got a motivational message at that particular point of time when I was on the verge of committing suicide, and somehow I stopped. And so so I thought that sometimes one thought, one moment can change your life.
No, but for me also, when I saw this Don't Give Up, but because that was my primary mode of coming in, knowing about you, and I went through your website and I was just passing through the content for 1 and 2 days, and I was so inspired by it. Like, to know your mindset, your thought process, and there was so much of content which was, which can make even anyone, anyone who is even 100 years old, who is not energetic, even he will just get up and he will start doing something. So it's a fantastic initiative. Like,
so then what happened was I joined IFT. At IFT, I came from a decent college, but being an IFT, and that the people from IIT, NIT, work experience. So in general, what happened was, whenever there was a group formed, so how I made the group was, the last 4 people that were left were automatically made in the group.
Understood.
So at a very initial level, because people were more focused towards students having good background, coming from good colleges or good work experience, so they paired themselves accordingly. But so what I did was, at an initial competition which was run by NITI, I was the first you can say person from a batch to get a national finalist call. And you'll not believe it that I didn't do with any of the IFTians. I paired up with team for some of my friends from Ford School of Business. So 2 were from Ford School of Business. I paired up, and we got the first national finalist within one and a half month of joining IFT. That was a big deal at that particular point of time. So you can say that particular thing was very motivating in nature, because first it brought me into limelight. That how can a person alone get into that thing? And the business plan was Don't Give Up World.
Yes,
The business plan was Don't Give Up World. Yes. So the thing, and the reason why we made it there was more because I was like very passionate about it. Very, very passionate about it. So when you're passionate about it, the energy surges through your veins, and you can feel the energy, you can feel the vibe, and that is one of the most critical qualities of an entrepreneur.
So and that also guides your intuition, that you should spend your time into it. If you are not passionate, why will you pursue your time doing it?
Yes. So eventually we won multiple competitions. We were like finalists of for Don't Give Up. We were like finalists of 15-20 competitions across the country. That means it got validated. So from an initiative which was a non-profit initiative to help the spread of word of hope and optimism, we started to bring the commercial angle into it. That is earning through advertisements, online psychological counseling, which were in which you were anonymous in nature, so you are able to share your details without the fear of being categorized as dumb or mental. Because in India, now things are
stigma,
lot of stigma is attached with mental health, but it is improving right now. At that particular point of time, if you say that I want to go to a mental health doctor, people will say that you're crazy. So at that particular,
even that happens in today also, like in tier 3 cities or tier 2 cities, like they stigmatize someone who is having some sort of requirements for counseling.
Yes. So we started to make the commercial angle of it, and then some competition happened, and the founder of Canon Partners, the initial founder of TIE India, Mr. Alok Mittal. So I was in a national finalist competition, and I said that I see this as a 50 lakh opportunity, revenue opportunity in the next 3 years. So you can say the moment of the particular incident that thoroughly changed my mindset was he told me, Arun, you're the founder of don'tgiveworld.com, which is one of India's biggest non-profit motivational website and community with almost 1 lakh members. You say that you see this as a 50 lakh opportunity in 2 years. The way you speak, I am pretty much sure that you can make much more just by speaking itself. I see it as a 500 crore opportunity, not a 50 lakh opportunity. So that gave two things. It was a word of encouragement also. I mean, that you can speak and get that kind of money. And it was a lesson also that I was thinking small.
That's true.
I was thinking small. Although it was commercially viable, it had got its unit economics, no burn, etc. Anything. So that was there. So basically, the B school days developed, participating in business plan competition, listening to other people's competition. Came second in TIE All Asia B Plan competition out of 1,300 teams across Asia. Represented India at the Rice Business Plan competition, which is the world's biggest and the richest B Plan competition. The winner gets to ring the bell of NASDAQ. And the prize money is $500,000, 0.8 million for the winner. So that's prize money, non-equity based. So when I went there, the level of those students was like stupendous. In those 10 days I was there, the kind of preparation, everything, it was like mind-opening, which was there. People from John Hopkins, Harvard, MIT, and not only with respect to content, not only with respect to the technical ability, the way they represented it was like awesome. For example, there's a person from MIT. He said that I have got three patents, 10 research papers, and I'm cool. And the other person on the team member is Mr. XYZ. I do not recollect his name. He's got 30 patents, 100 research papers. So 3 into 30 is like 10 times. He's 10 times cooler. That person was a professor in MIT who was considered to be the father of battery. So, and the way they narrated the story, I was going to China. He was a Chinese guy. I was going to China. I had a connecting flight from London. So I thought that while going to China, let me create something for my Nani, etc. So but at that particular point of time, batteries were 2.5 hours, and there was no charging in plane. So he thought that I do not have that much time to do it. So why don't laptops have 10 hour, 12 hour batteries? So understood. So the thing is that even the technical part, I mean, if you talk about batteries, people would talk more about specifications, etc.
They won't connect.
So it was more with respect to the benefits, and later on they talked about the functionality, benefits, the technical part of it. But so that was a very, very, you can say, great trip, both with respect to learning, understanding, which in India, what happens is India, it's more academic. I mean, at that particular point of time, right now also, what I see, it's more with respect to how good are you with Excel planning, aligning all the things together, whether you have done any groundwork, research work or not, whether you have implemented something or not. There, everything was practical. Patents, paying customers, XYZ, nothing was like theoretical in nature. So that gave me an insight. The bad part was that I should have moved into entrepreneurship after IFT. And maybe I thought, and although there was no culture at that particular point of time, but
because in 2008 only entrepreneurship ecosystem was happening. Like Flipkart came in. It was very early days.
Very early days. So I thought that let me have some experience first, and I thought that Don't Give is more of I still considered Don't Give Up as a non-profit, you can say, initiative to spread the word of Hypen. I couldn't connect it with the commercial part, although later on I supported Richa Singh from Your Dost, and now they are doing well in the mental health space.
They're perfect.
So at an initial level, I was the first promoters of them on their website, our website. We put their interviews, a direct link to their website for any kind of psychological counseling. But maybe I didn't have that conviction there. So that entrepreneur bug was always there. Maybe God has got his own timing. So initially I was with C8 and RPG in 3.5 years. Then I realized that I need to get into the startup. Then I worked with Trucks app. I worked with PayUmoney. I worked with Blackbuck. I did my own food startup called Poku. Then I worked with LoadShare Networks. So technically worked with more than 5 startups from different stages. From a bootstrap startup, from my startup, bootstrap startup, pre-series A startup, series A startup, series B startup, series B startup, and a startup which had plethora of money, which are backed by the likes of Naspers.
Yes.
So when you move across different startups in different domains which are there, across different stages, because different stages require different level of execution, different mentality,
different mindset.
So eventually I realized, first of all, I got good with respect to the logistic and supply chain domain. And eventually I realized that that I have gone through the various stages. I understand the nuances better. I have seen the mistakes which are already there. So I'll make mistakes, but it will there'll be lesser mistakes than, I mean, there will be newer mistakes, not repetitive mistakes, because we have done it in the other startups. So and basically वही हो गया कि यार अभी सबने कर तो लिया, तो these people are not adding value, because whatever I've learned across, I mean, most of the things that I've learned now, even if I go to another startup, it would be just an extension of it, but the extensive knowledge building would not happen. So I thought that let me get into entrepreneurship, because I've got the network, I've got the particular knowledge, know the stakeholders. Now it's a matter of execution, and I'm very stubborn with that, so I'll make it happen.
Yeah. But I like, it's a fantastic story, like the way you kept it from the childhood, and how it has been a journey of ups and downs, and how you started something when there was like no ecosystem out there. So and achieved success in that, and organically received lots of encouragement, and worked across startups at multiple stages. I like to understand that what was that one particular point you mentioned it, that this was the point that there's no learning extension, and that's why I shifted towards my own venture with the current venture that you're having. But still, like, build getting into a full-time business is a very crucial decision at this stage, where you're having a family and you have some responsibilities. So can you just because when I translate myself into the similar situation, when I'm having this particular responsibilities and also managing a full-time startup, I consider it as a very dynamic role play. So how the mindset goes when you are managing this multiple responsibilities, and what made you take this decision that let's just go full time?
So basically, first of all, like I told you, my knowledge was not, I will not say it was stagnated, but it was not growing at the pace at which it was growing earlier. So maybe with respect to sales, with respect to logistics, probably I was one of the best in the country. So I had good network, but I wanted to explore other facets, whether it is finance, whether it is compliances, whether it's raising funds, because the B school bug was there. In the B school days, I won 10 lakh rupees in cash prize winning competitions.
Okay.
So I thought that was more of an, I mean, most of this was more of an academic exercise kind of thing. But now I wanted to test the waters with respect to how do you do it when you go into the real life, convincing VCs and everything. So I thought that I had a personal belief that I would do good in it.
Okay.
And since domain knowledge was there, a problem statement was already there, which I was facing, and I knew that multiple other people were facing. So after doing a dipstick with multiple stakeholders, I realized that this is a very important problem sustaining in the market, and somehow no one has really worked on it or have been successful in it.
Okay.
So I thought that it is the right time, but I will give all my credit to my father. Because he was very philosophical in nature, and he told me that you pursue your heart, whatever you want to do. So he was like you need a family support. Without it, it's very difficult, because it's a 14 to 16 hours a day kind of job across at least in the initial 2 to 3 years, and so it is back-breaking, financially stressing, and all the stuff. So he told me, you pursue whatever you want to do, and if you will not get successful, try something else. If you'll not get successful, what we'll do is we'll open a shop for you in Kullu. I belong to Kullu Manali.
Okay.
वहाँ पे किराने की दुकान खोल लेंगे, वहाँ पर आप कर लेना. In case that also doesn't work out, then we have got some pension which is there. We'll be able to sustain your life, so don't worry about that. So the point is not, I mean, it might seem humorous at one time. I mean, it's okay at that particular, but the point was that is the level of confidence that is giving, irrespective of whether you fail once, twice, or at whatever extent. In the end, we are there behind you. That is very, very critical. With God's grace, I didn't have to resolve into all of those things. But once you get that kind of backing from your family, then you already are like 50%, 60% up in confidence in making it happen. So that was, you can say, the moving force behind it. Other things are nitty-gritty operational things that you do. But once you have got the conviction of yourself also, and you're backed by your family also, then I think it becomes, I mean, things are difficult, but at least it becomes easier. Yeah.
Easier. That's very, honest way, because if I see in my venture also, like many times I had been like contemplating like ab nahi ho paega. I was stretching limits in multiple ways, but then parents tell me that when you have reached this far, now you can't give up at this stage, because we see you are working so hard, and you are doing this much, and now you are contemplating on giving. It doesn't make sense. Like, you need to work even more harder. So that is a very crucial aspect that comes into the picture, because the families play a very important role in this. Arun, I like to understand that what should be the mindset of founders? Like, say some of them are still in the bootstrap mode, some of them have received initial funding, like all of them don't get this grace of being VC funded or very heavily funded. So there are lots of entrepreneurs out there who are bootstrapping, creating early revenue, and launching product, hustling across various domains. What are your tips for them, like how to balance their entrepreneurship as well as the other aspects of life?
So in general, a person who is bootstrapping, so basically one is bootstrapped, one is probably having some VC fund or some funding from external third party. When you're bootstrapped, I would suggest that at least you should have a 1 to 2 years runway for you. First of all, you need to be very frugal with respect to expenses.
Very frugal, yeah.
And 1 to 2 years runway, if it's there, then I mean at least 2 years runway you should have. 2 years at least you have to give in.
Yeah.
There is no shortcut towards it. The other thing is, for a bootstrap startup, I believe that team is very, very, very critical.
Okay.
Very, very critical. I've been very blessed and fortunate that multiple of my team members, like Shantanu, Shivangi, and others, they joined my team even at a 70% pay cut.
Understood.
At an initial level, when we were bootstrapped, and they insisted that they wanted to join.
Okay.
When I said that I don't think so it is reasonable, they said that I will consider that this is our own company. If we had started ourselves, then also we would have not taken the you can say salary or anything. So when people come to you, not for money,
not for money, but just want to be a part of this,
want to be part of this vision, want to be part of making this particular venture successful, that means you're doing something right. First of all, your vision is right, and secondly, your team is aligned with you. So that is very, very critical at an initial level, rather even in a seed stage till even a series A stage. The team should have the initial pillars of your team should not be working for you because it's a fashion statement that you are in a startup. They are really willing to hustle, willing to sacrifice, which is there. If you get some of these people, and I've been fortunate that I got some of these people, and these people were good in the trade also. So they're like, sometimes you get good people, but probably not very good with respect to trade. Then they learn. They've got a learning curve, but that is also okay. But we're fortunate that we got some of these people who were like not only dedicated to the overall vision of the team, loyal, and you can say respectful of the loyal and respectful to the leadership and the vision which is there, but they also knew the trade well. So at an initial level, first of all, have some runway, be very frugal, get the team right, and before getting the team right, you should do extensive research to understand the product market fit, whether there is the need, whether it can make economical sense. Be as close to the ground. In operation we said ground ke zameen ke saath rehna hai, which is there. Ki aapko zameen pe high level, strategic level generally doesn't work. Go to the ground, meet the relevant stakeholders, whether it is supply, demand, whatever stakeholders are there. Try to understand. go read about your competitors, talk to them. We used to take interviews of people who were in our competitors to understand more about the strategies, what goes right, what goes wrong,
what doesn't work right here.
So the more you work on these things, it's like the more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in war. So before getting into the team thing and everything, you need to do extensive research. It might take 3 months, it might take 6 months, it might take more. But get that conviction. Once you get the conviction, then start working on the team which is there, because then you know that, okay, next 2-3 years I'm dedicated like full throttle into that particular thing. So that is more with respect to at a bootstrapped or a pre-series A or an angel funded kind of team. For a VC funded team, I mean, startup, I believe that one has to be very frugal. One has to, I mean, I've seen companies spending a lot once they get funding. I firmly believe that you should spend that as if you're spending your own money. That is the mindset that you should have. You should be very focused with respect to unit economics. Getting a VC funded is not a luxury. It is a very, very big responsibility. Because you build a team. Then the team people are dependent upon you with respect to their financials and also their vision and their growth. Then multiple people are looking up to you. They might not be the poshest or the most high profile people, but say for example, people in Kullu might be looking at me for my success. They are rooting for my success because my success would act as an not exactly employment per se, but as an inspiration for them also to live that. हम भी कुछ कर सकते हैं कि हमारे यहाँ का बंदा जो इधर ही से पढ़ा हुआ है, इसी लेवल में है, हमारे आस-पास का है, under similar circumstances, he goes and makes it big. So that is very critical. So these people, I think, be very frugal with respect to money. Paisa aa gaya, it is responsibility. It is not a luxury. You have to return these people. It is your responsibility to multiply the number for the investors, because they funded you. They have taken a big risk. And that's a risk, big trust. You will not believe that I almost closed 200K, which extended to 400K. Okay. That means approximately 3.2 crore funding on a WhatsApp call, on a WhatsApp video call, without any pitch, without any pitch deck, without any data or anything. Because only general questions about the product, general conversation and our conversation, and after that, and that too was not for funding, that was for getting advice. So once the person feels that, okay, the business model makes sense, and that gentleman said that, Arun, I like you as a person, and I see that the model has got merits. It has unit economics behind it, and it is scalable. So I want to invest in you. So I'm not saying that this will happen every time, but that is a precursor, or that is a result of the reputation that you have built over the past. So networking plays a very critical role in that.
That's true.
I mean, when I was in IFT, one of my seniors told me that the biggest perk of being in IFT is not that it's an IFT, it's a top 10 B school in India. It's the number 1 B school with respect to international business, foreign trade. It is like, for any top B school, it's like you've got 150 seniors, 150 batchmates, 150 juniors. So you are in network with 450 people who are in general placed to be one of the top leaders in multiple organizations across the country.
That's true.
So that is very, very critical. Which is there. So your network is your net worth, and for that network also you need to learn. You need to learn from them. You need to share data. You need to help them. So it's not, for example, I get hundreds of requests almost every week, and at least I try to respond to them, or at least I connect it with some of them. So just having you can say 10,000, 1 lakh people in your network, and you're not supporting them, not helping them, would eventually be a network with respect to number. The relationship thing should be there. And that happens when you try to contribute whatever little knowledge and expertise that you have. You try to help the other people. Because multiple people would have helped you come up to that
to reach this level.
So it is your moral responsibility to at least help these people out, and that is how the network becomes stronger. So initially you got 2 followers, then 5 followers, then 10 followers, then you'll have 100 followers, 200 followers, 500 followers. These are not followers. These are like die-hard followers, supporters which are there. So the real count is the real supporters which are there. It's not the total number. If I've got 26,000 LinkedIn followers, then probably I would have 2,600, and 2,600 is a very good number. Who personally know me, or rooting for me, or supporting me. That is very critical. But that has happened over a decade, helping multiple people, with whatever little expertise and support I could do. So that is very critical. I think a lot of time founders work less towards their personal brand. And I'll tell you that my personal brand has helped me across 90% of the success, achievements, connects, relevant connects which are there. It is a snowball kind of effect that happens. So, for example, I reach out to one person, I get connected with him. Then I reach out to another person which is connected to him. I do a workshop, I get another workshop. I do it in a smaller college, then I get it from a tier B college, then I get it from a tier A college, then I get it from an international organization. So everything is an iterative process. It's a snowball effect. So in order to get that big, you need to start small, but you need to continuously do it. So motivation doesn't last. The motivation is not there. Today you've got a lot of work, it is not motivation. So basically the overall thing is discipline. It is discipline. I don't like something, I am not in the mood to do it, but I'll do it. I have to do it because that is more with respect to discipline. Now, why it comes very heavily on me and why I'm always very energetic towards getting the goals and things done. First of all, there's a saying that I wrote a quote at one particular point of time कि नाम खराब नहीं होना चाहिए. जिसको ये वो बोलता है जिसका नाम नहीं होता उसी का आगे जाके नाम होता है. At this particular point of time, suppose मेरा नाम नहीं है, लेकिन मैं ये सोचूं कि मेरे को कुछ भी करना है, लेकिन मेरा नाम नहीं खराब होना चाहिए. अभी मेरा कोई नाम नहीं, nobody knows me. Okay. I'm an unknown. Understood.
Your voice is getting cut. Voice आपका cut हो रहा है.
Yeah, I think I was getting a call.
Yeah. Now it's normal. Yeah. थोड़ा cut हो रहा है voice. Like video is working perfectly.
Actually,
yeah.
So,
yeah, now it's normal. I think this bit of lag in the voice, audio में थोड़ा है आपका. ऑडियो नहीं आ रहा है आपका, ऑडियो नहीं आ रहा है. आप रिकनेक्ट कर सकते हो ऐसा हो तो शायद. हेलो अरुण, आपका ऑडियो नहीं आ रहा है. ऑडियो इज नॉट कमिंग. ऑडियो मींस देयर इज नो ऑडियो कमिंग इन द कॉन्वर्सेशन. आप ऐसा तो रीजॉइन कर सकते हो एक बार. इफ यू कैन रीजॉइन, देयर इज नो ऑडियो. Yeah, so he will be reconnecting in a few minutes. Let's stay tuned because this is one of the most interesting conversations that we are having. And as he mentioned, that there's lots of positive impulse in the startup ecosystem where lots of people are joining and creating innovative ventures and providing value to each other. So let's wait for some time as he joins us. So we learned a lot regarding his personal aspects, regarding how he started up his company and what gave him the mindset that has helped him build a team and a very innovative concept on its own.
I'm sorry, actually,
yes,
I was getting a call
continuously.
I was getting a call continuously on the phone. Some delivery guy. My bad. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So we were discussing regarding your network and how it helps the snowballing effect and all. Yeah.
Yes. So that is very critical. So one should focus on their personal brand because personal brand brings in the reputation, and that reputation is very critical. Specifically, if you do not come from a you can say high profile or a very good college with good background. So then it becomes even more critical because everyone is looking for validation. Everyone is looking for trust.
Trust.
And
Understood.
so the trust is derived either from your previous background, from a high pedigree college, whether it's engineering, MBA, or whatever field you are, or your work experience over a particular period of time. So
Understood.
your personal brand is a good proxy
Mm-hmm.
to building trust. But even if you have got a good pedigree, then also you should do it. But at least there are a lot of people who say that we are not from IIT, IIM, so how would we become successful? But probably I've seen examples, people not from IIT, IIM, but they have created a personal brand which has helped them leverage, compensate for that particular thing.
Understood.
Eventually, if you're coming from a top college, you have worked hard, you have experienced more things, you have learned more things. So that is an advantage which is there. So you need to
That's true.
cover up that thing through your personal brand, which is like very critical. Yeah.
Very critical. Very critical. So that makes perfect sense, like for entrepreneurs also, because they need to, keep multiple stakeholders into place and, align them with their vision. Arun, would like to understand more regarding, this phase of COVID when I was seeing you personally, and you were also launching your this innovative venture. And at the same time, there's very weird, chaotic times, and some of the families were also shattered, and I received news of your father's passing away. What was your mindset at that point of time? Because I saw you that you were still back to normal phase, and you are completely excited with your innovative concept. So that was very much inspiring for me to see it from a distance, that a leader is even going through a personal time, but he's not making it a core aspect of his professional journey. Would like to understand your mindset, because I think
So
this will inspire lots of people.
basically, I left load share on April 4th. April 14th, my father got diagnosed with COVID. May 4th, he left. So I left job April 4th for starting a new venture. Immediately after 10 days, I hadn't even figured out an office yet. This thing happened then almost, and it was tough time for everyone, very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And at that particular point of time, a question came to my mind, like my mother's mind. You've got a lot of good offers, high paying offers from top companies. Then starting your own venture, specifically
At this
when your
stage.
father is no more, it's very risky and everything. But the thing that my father saying that, I mean, see, I believe in a saying by Kurt Cobain, probably if you would have heard of Nirvana. So it's like it is better to burn out than to fade away.
Understood.
So I realized that my father was in principle, he agreed to that I should start, and he had given his blessings to me that you should do it, you can make it happen, understanding all the nuances towards it, that I'll not get a salary for 1 or 2 years, lot of things might happen, funding might happen, not happen,
Not
etc
that.
etc. So I realized that it was a matter of keeping my word. I mean, difficulties would come and go, but eventually my father would like me to be successful someday. That this is a decision that I took. He always wanted me to be myself, do whatever I wanted to do with full conviction. So I thought that if I back out, it would be more of a cowardly gesture.
Understood.
And irrespective of the difficulties which come in, I do come from a don't give up background, and don't give up. We fail, fall, cry, even die trying, but we don't give up. Plus, so I realized that okay, the tough times are there. It happens. It happens with multiple people.
Yeah.
Multiple people have suffered more. Now is the point of time that I need to gear up. I need to be more serious. I need to be. I have bigger
More responsible.
responsibilities, and these bigger responsibilities brought in more seriousness in me and more conviction in me, and the desire increased multifold with respect to making it successful, no matter what it takes. So
Understood.
it is basically, I mean, it's simple, yeah. I mean, if you are into for the glamour and fun of getting into a startup, please don't join it.
Please,
You
because it's
have
very
you have
hard.
to you have to do anything and everything in a startup. It's not easy. I mean, the only thing probably fancy is the fancy titles that go with it.
Title that you keep.
But
Yeah.
other, okay, you are a co-founder, founder, CTO, CEO, etc. That is there, but it requires a lot of you can say blood, sweat, and tears in order to make it happen. So unless and until you are very passionate about it, unless and until you're passionate that you'll never leave it. I mean, at least that passion should be there. I mean, situations might come or not, but at least that desire is there. Do not do it. Do not even think of doing it.
Think of doing it. That's the
Yes,
very
yes.
genuine advice. Like, because you also told me when I was starting that, there will be times where cheese will not work according the way you are trying to, work them out. And there'll be lots of rejections during the course. Right. And at that particular point in time, you will be like, giving up very soon. So वो आप एक बार बहुत सही से decision लो, because it's very hard and it doesn't seem so fancy. It's not that fancy as it seems. Like, it's extremely hard. And I realized, because that particular thought, that particular discussion used to come to my mind every time when there used to be, some things which were not working. And I was like, how to, hustle more, or how to just find a way to, solve this particular problem. And eventually there was lots of support from people, but that mindset was important, because it's ultimately up to the founder, like when he is, deciding to take a call. The
Yes.
decision making is the consumes most of your energy, because the one decision can, can have lots of impact in terms of survival of your venture, as well as, creating the sort of the vibe for the other stakeholders also. So that was very important advice that I received from you. Arun, would like to discuss more about your tenure at IFT, because for me IFT is like family. To some of the seniors, or even if some of the batchmates, I just randomly connect with them, and no matter what, I just talk with them all my heart. So I like to understand that what was that, what we can say, the pillars that were built, the foundations during your tenure at IFT, like how it helps you. Because for me, I'll tell you, it has given me the mindset that I had never, means, I had just visualized. So I got that mindset that, okay, we can actually do it, we can actually achieve this which is there in the books and which we have read about. So
See,
for me it is like that. I like to understand from your perspective.
basically there are two differences when you get into top B school, IFT being one of them. One is the kind of people you work with. So they are one of the best in the country. So that they automatically push you up. So even
Push
if
you.
you think that you're a worst, you're probably the last person in IFT, you will be much better than probably a lot of other B schools which are there. First is
Definitely.
the kind of people. All of them are like very, very competitive.
Very
Very
competitive and
competitive.
very smart.
You look around. I mean, a lot of my batchmates are preparing for CFA level 1, 2, FRM all together consecutively. And I used to see them bearing classes probably in 3 months, 4 months. I'll see them outside
That's
in the
true.
same campus, and IFT campus being small, being in South Delhi.
Yeah.
So that is the level of competition. You can say healthy competition. The overall intellectual capability is very high. Competitiveness is high. People are very motivated, highly aspirational. So it automatically pushes you up. So
Understood.
one part is this. The other part is the history. History is very critical. Eventually, you work hard. Everyone has to work hard in order to accomplish something. But if you've got precedents, what top B schools or top engineering colleges give us that, okay, say Satya Nadella is from our college, XYZ is from our college. So they know that one of the top people in the country or in the world in their respective domains have evolved from that particular institution or
Institution.
organization or institution. So what it does is it gives us a lot of confidence. So good peer network, education is obviously good, but the main thing is precedents which are already there, that gives you inspiration that things can be done, and it passes down from generation to generation. And the kind of peer group that you have.
Yeah, understood. So that's like plays a very intangible role and gives you lots of value in terms of your personal confidence also, and that has been the case for me also personally. So the network is very important, and as you mentioned, like there's lots of value that your
Udit,
network provides.
Udit,
Yeah,
Udit,
sure. Yeah,
uh, I'll, I'll, Udit, allow me a minute. I'm really sorry. There is an delivery which is coming. I'm just unprecedented delivery. That guy is calling
no,
again. Just
sure.
allow
You
me
just
2 minutes.
complete that
Allow me,
thing.
allow me,
We'll be just talking
allow
about.
me 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. We'll be just talking about your, experiences and background. So, as I mentioned, I had seen Arun personally during the time of pandemic, and there were very stressful times. And at the same time, he was also launching his venture. And seeing him personally made me realize that he has lots of energy and enthusiasm, even in the lowest of the phases. Like he used to hustle for like say 10, 12 hours, and I saw the type of initiatives that he made for getting the treatment for his father. And he wrote a very big blog which was very exhaustive in its own way, and he shared it with me. So that he shared it with community also, and it had all the learnings of do's and don'ts that one should understand while they are getting in touch with someone who's passing through pandemic. And when I saw this long list of initiatives, that list of the tasks that he had done. I realized that if I'm thinking, or if someone thinks of 1x or 2x or 3x, he hustles and executes at least 10x of it. And that's the energy that is he has for all his particular initiatives and projects. And that's what is important for entrepreneurship, because there will be like highs and lows, but as he mentioned, like discipline is one of the core aspects which makes you hustle a lot. And having such leaders in the community, seeing them closely, makes us say that we can also hustle this hard, and we can also juggle up and work this hard. So it's lots of positive energy that Arun has, and through his various initiatives he keeps on lifting people up. He keeps on supporting people, advising people up through his knowledge, and through his content, and through his range of initiatives. Yeah, so we're just talking.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I'm back and hopefully not disturbed now. Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. So I was just talking about how you manage that chaos during pandemic, and how big inspiration it was for me personally, because I don't have words to convey the sort of hustle that you had during that chaotic time. And I was like that, the type of energy that you have for any initiative, not only for venture but for any initiative. Because I remember you sent me a big blog which had like 15 different points of do's and don'ts while you're getting in touch with someone who's passing through pandemic. And I realized that okay, a normal person will only do one or two or three things, but Arun has done like 15 different things in such a short span of time. And I was completely amazed that this is the energy, this is the perspective, this is able to think through the situations, no matter how low or how high the time is.
See, Udit, what happens is, see, a lot of misery happens in life. A lot of things happen in life. That is part and parcel of life. And now it totally depends upon how do you take it. I mean, of course, people, we get disheartened, we get depressed, we can, lot of shit happens. But eventually, for every sound person, I mean, if you ask yourself or myself, I do not want this thing to be repeated to anyone else. So it's my moral responsibility to capture whatever learning I could, whatever things I didn't do right, and try to share it with relevant set of people. That's at least maybe one, two, or anyone gets saved from it. They utilize those learnings and they are able to save their loved ones or anything. So in general, it is a moral responsibility. It is it's not just with respect to pandemic, it's respect to everything. If we have learned something, we have learned it because of the help of some of our seniors, some of our mentors, XYZ, even from our juniors. You learn a lot from different kind of people.
Yeah.
And it is your moral responsibility that it's like the more you share the light of knowledge, the more you gain it. It's not just about gaining. I mean,
It's
I
about
think
sharing.
it is about sharing it. I think if a person is not sharing, then I think he's probably, he might be the richest of the person which is there. But if he's not sharing, he's not being his authentic self, then I count himself as poor.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's all the motive of Ador Loveshots also. Like we bring leaders to share their stories because we also want to learn, and we want that at least if some young person dwells on this conversation, he will take something out of it. Like, okay, that this leaders pass through these situations and they evolved in like very growing perspective, with a very growth perspective. So if we are passing through such situation, we will also evolve with growth perspective, because these are the stories that personally inspire me, and that's the same for all of the humanity that's there. Arun will like to understand some points regarding like one of the core aspects is I just saw you getting in touch with Robin Sharma. Like I'm a very big fan of Robin Sharma. And I was like, how you got in touch? I like to understand more about it. And at that point of time, I was so much amazed when I checked your Don't Give Up World, your blogs with Robin Sharma. Because, those who know me, since my college days, they know that I'm very big fan of Robin Sharma. Like I used to read his books, post his content on Instagram channel. Even now I do it on Ador also, because he's like completely amazing personality. And I was always curious to know that how you got in touch. And
So basically, So basically how it happens is in life, in startups, in a lot of other things, sometimes you struggle a lot for years and years and years, and at one particular point of time that inflection point comes.
Okay.
And after that inflection point, everything changes, goes exponentially. So we used to post content, create content with respect to different set of authors, inspirational people, and sometimes we used to tag them, sometimes we used to message them, reached out to them, and one day, I mean, if you continuously work hard, I mean, it is all about consistency, discipline. You do it on a regular basis, and one day you will strike gold. So there is no magic formula to it. The magic formula is discipline. It is discipline, irrespective of anything.
So did he approach you? Like, what happened? Like, did he approach you? Like,
we wrote a post about him, and he reverted back. Yeah.
Okay, so you wrote it on your blog and tagged him, and he reverted back. And then you came to meet him or something. What happened?
So we didn't meet him, but general conversation over chat, which is
over chat.
So. But because in-person meeting was not possible, and since he's not in the country, but some exchanges with respect to messages, etc. Yeah,
that's great. That's great. Like, very inspirational thing that because I was very much inspired to learn about your interaction with Robin Sharma at that point. I think it was in 2021. I was like, I want to learn how it happened.
So see, Udit, how it works is, I mean, the basic funda is you have to, whatever you want to excel at, it is whether it's personal, professional, you have to keep it in your daily routine. If it is not in your daily routine, you will not be successful in it. I mean, I do not consider myself very lucky, but if you feel that the odds are winning 1 in a million and you are that one, then good luck to you. For me, if I say that even the odds are like 99 in 100, then I believe that probably I'll not be in the 99. So I work accordingly. So you have to do consistently. It should be in your routine. So if you want to become, if you want to learn something, it should be in your daily routine. If you want to work out, it should be in your daily routine. If you want to build your personal brand, it should be in your daily routine. If you want to enhance your network, it should be in your daily routine. So if it's not in your daily routine, it will be okayish.
Understood.
You will be okayish. You might be good, but if you really want to be among the top of the top, you need to put it in your routine. You need to do it on a regular basis. Just to give you one small example, that in general, I was discussing with my cousin sister who was teaching at IITs earlier, Charu Devedi. So there was a discussion. We were working on a project, business plan for treating dye-based water through coir husk. Coir husk is a waste material from the coir industry. So we were doing the calculations of it, and we realized that she told me that a 90% purity chemical was, for example, I do not recollect the number, was 100 rupees per kg. 93% was 1000 rupees per kg. 97 was 10,000 rupees per kg. 99 was 20,000 rupees per kg. 99.3 was 50,000 rupees per kg. 99.7 was 90,000 rupees per kg. 99.9 was 10 lakh rupees per kg. So I said that 99.7 is, say, for example, 95% is X amount. For even a smaller fraction of increase, the cost is increasing exponentially. And 99.3 is, say, 1 lakh rupees per kg, and 99.9 is 10 lakh rupees per kg for only 0.7, 0.6%
difference.
0.6%. This is not fair. I mean, that was my business mind which was working, or Lala Buddhi, whatever you can say that. So, but one important lesson that I realized from it. So, in order to be amongst the top, so even at 90, 95, 97, it is okay. But that last 2-3% are the most difficult to achieve, and that is what makes you amongst the top of the in whatever field or industry you are there. So it is very critical. Though I mean, you might be 90% of some part, but that 100%, a 10% gap is a very big gap, which is very difficult to achieve. So, and that comes at a cost, that comes at a premium. That's why 90% would be 1,000 rupees and 99.9% would be 10 lakh rupees. That is the delta that is in between.
That's
true. So that is required. So I aspire to be anything but ordinary, which is there. I do not know whether how much successful I will be or not, but at least I will try and give my best. So in order to become the best, you have to learn from the best. You need to sit with the best. You need to interact with the best. You need to engage with the best. So I leave no opportunity to interact with the best people in the world.
Understood.
And once your network builds, the quality of people also builds. So generally, what I specifically, I will not say teach, but recommend people in specifically in my team is that first you need to get into that room or that hall. पहले आप हॉल के अंदर आओगे, हॉल में आप पहले पीछे खड़े होंगे, फिर आपको पीछे की सीट मिलेगी, फिर आगे की सीट मिलेगी, फिर आपके वीआईपी सीट रिजर्व वाली सीट मिलेगी, फिर आपको मॉडरेट करने का मौका मिलेगा, फिर वहां पर आप चीफ गेस्ट आओगे. So initially you need to get into that hall.
True.
Then eventually it evolves. But तो ऐसा बंदा सोचता है सीधे वहीं पर पहुंच जाए, that ऐसा नहीं होता है. So that is how I have evolved. Some people get lucky, तो थोड़ा आगे निकल जाते हैं, थोड़ा जल्दी fast हो जाता है, but eventually it all balances over a period of time.
That's true, like because that builds substance in you, right? Like over the time frame you've seen all sorts of situations, so वो substance आपको कहीं नहीं जाएगा, and no matter what the situation is, you'll keep on giving your best. Arun, you also hold a Guinness World Record.
Yes.
Right, and I researched on it. It's very interesting thing that you have achieved. So can you just explain us what it is about and what was the journey behind it?
So see, my very good friend Satvik Sharma and was into light photography. He's a doctor. He's a homeopathic doctor.
Okay.
And very good at it. But he's a innovator in himself.
Okay.
So, but the point with him was he kept on innovating with respect to building something with respect to light photography, etc. But he didn't make it happen per se. वो करता रहता था, लेकिन करा अपने लेवल पे किया, छोड़ दिया. So since I was very competitive from the very beginning, मेरे को शुरू से आदत थी इस चीज की. मैंने कहा यार कुछ करते हैं इसको यार, ये ऐसे अपने लेवल पे छोटा मोटा करके कोई फायदा नहीं है. तो हम कहते बनाएंगे गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड बनाएंगे, ठीक है. मैं कहा थोड़ा स्टडी किया. So they were there, just I mean Jasmin Ravello is a very good international level photographer based out of India. सब लोग थे. So these people are the real brains behind it. I was more with respect to operations, to be very frank. लेकिन उनके साथ गए. Then we attempted once, we failed in that attempt.
Okay.
We went to Sainik School Kunjpura, which is there. वहाँ पर हम fail हो गए. Then so it's also an iterative process. ऐसे सबको success दिखता है पहले का. That is okay. You result the end result. There are a lot of planning that goes behind it. So from one small innovation that we did, we came up with the idea of building a world record. Then we did it innovatively. We broke the previous record by almost 3 times at 1/3 the cost.
Okay.
तो ऐसे हमने छोटा मोटा सा नहीं तोड़ा. And we had broken the record for 5 times, but somehow they require proofs. One of the cameras battery got drained off. तो जो हमारे पास 900 का रिकॉर्ड था, जैसे पहला 270 300 का था, तो 900 वाला दे पाए क्योंकि उसका सारा प्रूफ था.
Okay.
1500 वाले में एक कैमरे का वीडियो बंद हो गया, तो you don't have the proof, so you couldn't. Although we had broken it by 5 times, which is there.
That's like phenomenal. Yeah.
So how it happens is, see, it should be in your mind, and somewhere manifestation works. You will not believe it. I used to buy books from second-hand market in RK Puram Sector 1, Delhi, which is there. तो मैं गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड, लिम्का बुक ऑफ रिकॉर्ड, ये सब लेते रहता था बचपन से. I mean अर्ली तो लेते रहता था, देखते रहे तो दिमाग में रहता है ऐसे, कहीं ना कहीं इच्छा वो रहती है, which is there. So how it works is, I mean, eventually you have to manifest also. Yeah. And manifest is not daydreaming, and you have to you have to work on it also. But so it was always in the mind, and when that idea came, it connected, and with God's grace, efforts of the teammates, I mean, I give whole credit to them, and I was a small part of it. I also helped with operationally, did the manual labor work most of the times to get it done, because it was very operational extensive. So helped with respect to my operational experience. They were more with respect to photography and the technology aspect, and together we made it happen. So eventually anything can happen. I mean, it is very, I am during my free time, I generally watch AGT, X Factor, TED videos. I do not have a cable connection per se. I do not watch TV.
Okay.
So I only watch these things. So people will say, गाने सुनते हो, क्या होता है उससे? TED talks are like informative. So I watched probably 5,000-7,000 TED talks.
Okay.
So that is the extent. That is the extent. तो मतलब TED talk तो देखना ही है. Daily के basis पे कुछ नहीं होता है. Whenever I travel, TED talk 2-3 आते time, 2-3 जाते time. So it broadens your horizon. But when I see these AGTs and everything, because people may say that a lot of them are scripted, उधर ज़्यादा emotional वो दिखाते हैं, but a lot of them is true also.
Like at least 80-70% is true.
Whatever is the case, I mean, they might over exaggerate things and other things, but people come from very humble background and get succeeded. People who were nowhere at a different point of age. I mean, people succeeding at 40, people succeeding at 80, people pursuing their dreams. Even if they don't succeed, they're making an earnest effort towards it. Even if they do not get selected. So what it does is, I mean, you do not just get inspired by successes. You also get inspired by failures. You also get inspired by people attempting to achieve their dreams. They may or might not succeed.
Chasing their dreams.
So when I watch these videos and sometimes I see people doing it, literally gives me goosebumps, and I see that यार ये सब इतना कर रहे हैं, हम भी कर सकते हैं, हम भी करेंगे.
That's true.
So that is very critical. So what these videos does, or this motivational quote does, is because there are a lot of noise, negativity across the world. सब जगह पे है, कुछ ना कुछ noise disturbance है. So what it does is, it subconsciously makes you immune to these external noises.
Understood.
आप ये देखते रहोगे ना, आपको पता भी नहीं लगेगा. लेकिन आप सबकॉन्शियसली कम नेगेटिव होते रहोगे, मोर पॉजिटिव होते रहोगे. इट्स नॉट कि हाँ अभी वो हिसाब से चलेगा. उस तरीके से फ्रेम हो जाता है. ऐसे नहीं लगता कि अच्छा यार मैं इससे पॉजिटिविटी ले रहा हूँ. आप देखते रहो. लाइक आई टोल्ड यू, आई यूज्ड टू रीड एक्सटेंसिवली. आई डोंट नो एनी ग्रामर रूल्स. तो मेरे को नहीं पता कि मेरे को बस एक ही रूल पता है, AEIOU के साथ एन लगता है, उसमें मुझे एक्सेप्शन नहीं पता. ठीक है. तो लेकिन मुझे ये पता है कि ये सही है गलत है. तो इवेंचुअली अपने आप आ जाए. Subconsciously आप किसी चीज के साथ रहोगे, and like most of the people say that you are an average of the top 5 people
that you surround yourself,
spend time. It's not just 5 people. It's like 5 things where you invest most of the time. That investment might be in video lectures, in TED talks, in these speeches. It's not necessarily physical person. It might be a virtual persona which is trying to give you. So wherever you spend the most time learning may be direct, indirect, virtual. Interaction it may be one-way interaction they may giving you. So that is how you become the average of things. So with the advent of internet, it becomes easier. Earlier तो ऐसा था कि you are dependent upon the people near you. आप 4 लोग साथ में, तो अभी I'm able to interact with people from India, abroad, US, Israel, Europe, getting to learn from them. So internet has at least created a level playing field across the world. Even a tier 2, tier 3 city person has got access to internet. They can reach out. I mean, in general, it's difficult, but they have an option. Earlier तो option था ही नहीं. So very, very inspired by Kung Fu Panda, in the sense that good movie, fun movie, which is there. But when Master Shifu says that when the student is ready, the master will appear.
That's true.
It's as simple as anything. If you're really passionate about it, you will knock doors. 10 लोग आपको मना करेंगे, 100 लोग मना करेंगे, 1 लोग तो आपको हाँ करेगा ही. Someone will say yes. So it depends upon how persistent you are, how stubborn you are. The universe loves the stubborn heart. ठीक है. उनको चाहिए जो बिल्कुल है ढीठ लोग चाहते हैं. Lot of time I tell some of my team members that your favorite creature should be the leech. Leech होता है ना, leech से इंसेक्ट किसी से पकड़ जाता है तो उसे छोड़ता नहीं है, बहुत मुश्किल से निकलता है वहाँ पे. So jokingly I say that they stick to a particular whatever the target objective. It is very difficult to. So you should have that mindset that okay, once I'm aligned to a particular thing, I need to make it happen. Your reputation is at stake, and so for me reputation is very critical. तो मैं कोई काम उठाता हूँ तो मेरे को हमेशा लगता है कि यार ये तो करना है, कैसे भी करना है. And the other thing, probably a small tip that I can give is, I do not know whether it is the right tip or not, but I like to take notes on physical paper. तो मैं उस पे सब लिख देता हूँ. अगर मेरा संडे का भी है तो मेरा संडे का पूरा 40, 25, 30 मेरा जो टू डूज है वहां पर लिखा होगा. मैं हमेशा स्ट्रेस करके रखता हूँ. मतलब मैं बड़ा एम्बिशियस, every single day को बहुत ambitious रखता हूँ. I mean multiple goals. First of all, I document it. I highly recommend document तो करो. जब तक आप लिखते के जब टिक करते हो ना, उसकी जो फील होती है ना, that is different. So once you write, the more senses that you get involved. For example, if you read something, your eyes are there, your mind is there. If you speak also. If you write also, the number of senses, the more senses which are involved in doing a particular thing, the more probability of it absorbing that thing, learning that thing becomes heavier. So make a to-do list every single day. Tick it, जो उसमें करना. Try to push it more than probably what you think the capacity is there. Maybe you'll reach 80%, 70%, but that would be far, far higher. So I am like very because once I write it, it becomes an indirect reputational thing for me कि मैंने लिख दिया यार, मुझे करना है.
अब मैंने बोल दिया है, मैंने कमिट कर दिया.
पर मैंने बाहर नहीं कमिट किया है. अभी मैंने अपने को कमिट किया है. लेकिन मेरे को अपनी कमिटमेंट की भी वैल्यू अपने लिए भी है,
वैल्यू है, रिस्पेक्ट है,
कोई दूसरा देख रहा है नहीं देख रहा, बिकॉज वंस यू लूज द वैल्यू ऑफ योर कमिटमेंट, once you lose the value of your commitment to yourself, then everything is lost. अपने को commitment किया आप फेल हो जाओगे.
It affects your confidence.
And what I do is, as a whiteboard, मैं whiteboard पे लिख के रखता था bucket list. I want to climb Mount Everest one day. I want to come in Forbes 40 under 40. I want to make Don't Give World India's biggest motivational website and community. I want to do solo. You can say para jumping etc and everything. मैं लिख देता तो बिल्कुल ambitious जो लोग मैं पहले लिख के देता था. And whenever I go, when I take some seminars for students etc, I generally show them. So some people laugh at it कि क्या है. तो मैं कहता हूँ यार
यही है,
ये है. I might achieve some, I might not achieve some, but I'll achieve some, which is there. People say that I'm very ambitious. I mean, there is a proxy to the thought. I mean, a lot of people say that if you have some goals, you should not tell anyone because it distracts them, brings in negative energy, blah blah blah. I do not come from that school of thought. I say that if you have a goal, put it on your t-shirt
और बाहर निकलो ओपनली,
बाहर निकलो,
भले फेल हो या सक्सेस हो,
भले फेल हो चाहे कुछ हो. So which is there, because what happens is people don't wear their goals because they are shy of the fact that if I don't succeed, तो लोग मेरा मजाक उड़ाएंगे. लोग मजाक उड़ाएंगे, अरे तो ये शर्ट पहनता था, ये नहीं पहनता था, तो इसका तो क्या हो गया, उसका क्या हो गया. अरे लोग तो मजाक उड़ाएंगे ही, ठीक है ना. आप एम लो करो, उसे अचीव कर लो. आप एक मिस्टर नोबडी रहो, आप उसमें ठीक है. यू शुड वेयर, बिकॉज इफ यू हैव गॉट एनी सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट, देन वेयरिंग दैट शर्ट वुड indirectly motivate you to push harder.
That's true. Perfectly.
And there is no I mean, no, you can say issue with failing. I mean, fail करना क्या दिक्कत है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. At least your goal should be ambitious enough कि जिसमें failing in that goal is also worthy. Taking small goals which are meaningless goals, mediocre goals. One of my junior few days back dropped me a message कि आप इतनी सारी चीजें इतने कंसिस्टेंटली हर रोज कैसे कर लेते हो, मेरे से नहीं हो पाता सर, मुझे आप बताओ. तो मैं कहा तुम्हारे गोल ही बड़े मीडियोकर होंगे.
No, that's true. तभी वो स्ट्रेच नहीं कर पा रहे.
आपका गोल मीडियोकर है, एवरेज, आपको एक्साइटमेंट आती नहीं उससे. तो जब आपका गोल मीडियोकर होगा, एवरेज होगा, पैशन एवरेज होगा, तो यू विल नॉट बी एक्साइटेड अबाउट इट. व्हेन यू विल नॉट बी एक्साइटेड अबाउट इट, you don't want to put in your energy and heart and soul into it, then it's just a wishful thinking. सबकी है,
daydreaming type का है.
Daydreaming, everyone wants to do this, that. They will put in negative comments for people doing it. I firmly believe, I've seen lot of people discuss, specifically peer groups. तो कहते हैं यार ये तो हमारे साथ ही था लड़का, देखो आगे निकल गया. ये तो कुछ भी नहीं करता था. मैं तो उससे बहुत ज्यादा इंटेलिजेंट था. ये तो क्लास में 20th नंबर पे आता, मैं फर्स्ट में आता था. ये तो फेल होता था, तो मैं यहाँ पर था. मेरे तो इधर प्लेसमेंट हुई थी, तो उसको कहीं पर भी प्लेसमेंट नहीं हुई थी. ये तो आगे निकल गया. ये तो आइडिया तो मेरे पास था. I mean,
that's true. That's how
people say that
sometimes. Yeah.
So I believe that the idea belongs to the person who executes it.
That's true.
आपने आइडिया कुछ मर्जी बना लो, unless and until it's execution, unless and until you are doing a PhD in theoretical science or something like that, there it works. Apart from that, unless and until you are executing that idea, ideas are dimes and dozen. लोग बोलते हैं मेरा आइडिया कॉपी हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा. क्या कॉपी होगा? कुछ कॉपी नहीं होगा. सारी दुनिया कर रहा है उस चीज को. It totally depends upon execution. So you need to make it happen. So that's how it works.
That's true. Arun, one important thing when you talked about mediocrity and mindset कि you need to think very big and you need to think, तो उसमें क्या होता है that entrepreneurs when they are starting out, you know, they are also thinking big, but वो action वो हिसाब से नहीं align कर पाते. Like मैं आपको example बोलता हूँ कि say getting in touch with some of the most sophisticated angel, so they self sabotage themselves कि यार मेरी तो ये हैसियत ही नहीं है कि ना ही मेरे उसमें इतना वैल्यू है that I can connect with him, या फिर कोई VC के साथ कनेक्ट करना, because they have built up that mindset. तो वो स्ट्रेच करते करते उनको बहुत टाइम लग जाता है. I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about few of the people. So how to, because when I also got in touch with some of the founders who are like unicorn venture builders, I realized that they pushed me to think 100x more of what I'm thinking, right? तो जैसे आपने बताया कि तब you realize that okay हम छोटा सोच रहे हैं, मैं और बड़ा सोच रहा हूँ. तो वो एक माइंडसेट शिफ्ट है, वो बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट होता है. एंड वो जो एक फेज में आना, वो भी एक अपने आप में एक ट्रांजिशन फेज में आना, दैट्स आल्सो अ जर्नी. हाउ कैन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स रिड्यूस दिस टाइम? to get into that phase, because वो phase में आएंगे तभी वो action ऐसा लेंगे, तभी वो ऐसे they will work like that, otherwise they will keep self sabotaging, they will not achieve it. तो मैं आपके end से वो समझना चाहता हूँ that how to get that.
See, like
in
I've told you,
small amount of time.
See, contagious, everything is contagious वाली बात. देखो आपको क्या है वो आपको चीज बताएगा जब आप जैसे लोगों के साथ बैठोगे. If you sit with people who have got higher vision, bigger vision, consistently, it's not just one talk. एक बार बात किया तो आपको एक जगह गए, B जगह गए, C जगह गए, D जगह गए. So once you do it on a consistent basis, you start to believe things. Initially, you feel that okay, they have done it, so they are saying it. It might be possible for them, but it's not possible for me. But once you reach out to multiple set of people, one of the best things that you can do is try to find people from your community, your college, your school who have done it big. Because then the belief factor increases.
Increases a lot.
ये तो मेरे गांव का बंदा है यार, इसी ने कर दिया. ये तो मेरे स्कूल का, ये तो साथ में था, मतलब ये सीनियर थे, इन्होंने कर दिया. तो उससे conviction becomes fire. I mean, all due respect to say Albert Einstein, people say that वो लैंटर्न के नीचे पढ़ते थे, ऐसे करते थे. Due respect, but you get connected with your roots much more as compared to another person in general.
Understood.
So because the difference is belief factor. Similar condition, similar situation which is there, you are able to do that. Okay. So get into touch with multiple set of people. उनसे बात करते रहो. There is no shortcut to it. Keep building your skills. Be realistic also. And I mean, learning is a never-ending thing. हर रोज learn करना है. You know that okay, this is the level, this is the skill set I require in order to reach that particular level. So you need to reverse engineer that. मुझे इस करने के लिए क्या करना है. A lot of things in isolation. Believe तो आपको अपने skill set को तो continuously मेरे पास ये कमी है. First of all, you need to be honest with yourself. वो बंदे और मेरे बंदे में ये difference है. ये उसके positives है, ये उसके पास additional चीज है, ये मेरे पास additional चीज है. अपनी strength भी खेलनी, लेकिन मेरी ये weaknesses है कि ये भी मेरे पास आ जाए. So overall, I will become a bigger product. So how do I cover up for that? It's more strategic for your personal building only, and eventually it all lies with you. आपको being a leader, being a founder, being a thinker, it's all about as a man thinketh.
Man, that's true. That's perfectly well put. Like आप जो बोल रहे हो वो, and it's very good. It's very important to stay in that ecosystem and stay with such like-minded people, those who will push you to think bigger and also act in the similar way. Arun, I like to understand a bit अभी हमारे context में, like जो हम dating platform है, relationships के platform है, the mindset with relationships right now कि जब लोग independently pursue करना चाहते हैं, तो there's lots of things कि यार ये लड़की बाजी है. I am talking to a crude way, and this depletes your career, that this depletes your mindset, and also ये सब मत करो. That's how the parents think, that's how the social culture thinks. But what we consider is if there is a growth mindset in relationship, so both of you will grow in a compounded way. आपका क्या perspective for youngsters who are also managing their careers, figuring out what they want to do in life, and also how they should develop their perspective, because ये भी बहुत बड़ा investment है, choosing your life partner, choosing your partner for relationship or dating, like say for 3-4 years. So because you will be constantly spending time. Can you just give your mindset around it, like how you think about it?
See, what I think is that unless and until both the partners are focusing more towards their growth, मतलब together, अगर वो चीज नहीं होगा ना, तो नहीं होगा. तो फिर वो टाइम पास है, फिर वो लड़कीबाजी, टाइम पास, etc. So first of all, bearing you like a person, etc., everything that is okay, but eventually A and B both have got their own ambitions, and if they are able to interact, very good. That's a good thing, because there will be some harmony in between them. But unless and until you are satisfied, you have got some ambition, I have got some ambition, and unless and until we feel fulfilled in that ambition also, will not be able to get fulfilled in that relationship.
Understood.
Then it will become a casual relationship which will go nowhere. Which is there. So technically, getting into a relationship is not just with respect to habits. You feel good with that particular person. You also need to get your ambitions aligned. And you also need to see that okay, and that is for the greater good of that particular person. If you like a person, you want that person to be the best version of that person. You want them to get fulfilled. You want them to achieve greatness, success, whichever is possible, which is like very easier to say.
To say.
सब बोलते हैं ना, हाँ यार आप तुम बहुत अच्छा करना चाहिए, ऐसे करना चाहिए, but how do you manage those things in which both these people grow together, both as individuals and as with respect to the professionals? If you are able to marry both of these things together, then most of the hurdles with respect to relationship and the probability that the relationship will eventually succeed into something meaningful long term would increase. But most of the time people get into relationship only on the basis of their personal belief, taste, अच्छा लग रहा है, दिख रहा है, अच्छा है, इस चीज पे. So that is that thing. So that is not in you're not into isolation. You're not just a personal person, you are also a professional person. Similarly for the other person. तो आपको जब डिस्कशन करना होता है, कोई चीज करना होता है, so both of these things should go hand in hand. How can you contribute? How can you understand each other's goals, ambition, give them that particular space for that also? Then only things would last. So कभी भी relationship personal नहीं होता, professional होता है. अगर वो पहले से people are able to at least discuss about them and everything, then things will last. Otherwise, अरे आप तो पहले तो ये था, वैसा था, ये तो हमारी expectation setting is very good. Expectation setting is necessary. Expectation setting is necessary. If someone wants a helicopter, मैं helicopter नहीं दे सकता तो मुझे बोलना पड़ेगा यार मैं आपको Audi दूंगा, BMW दूंगा, मैं Honda Civic दूंगा, whatever दूंगा, क्योंकि अभी ऐसी चीजें हैं, ये है. So expectation setting is very very critical. The earlier you do during your courtship period, whatever you are discussing, etc., talk about not only personal, talk about professional, your ambition, goals, and how can we take them in parallel. Then only it would succeed. Otherwise, so like most of the world, things happen, but that don't last.
अरुण और एक चीज डिस्कस करना चाहता हूँ कि क्या होता है कि when couples pass through a phase where it's not working out, right? So one or both get into a state which is not good for their various aspects of like say mind, body, soul. Abhi like it's not coming, like it's coming from my observation of multiple people who are very mature, intelligent, right? So, and I feel like ki yaar, I feel really sad because these people have got tremendous potential and they are investing their energy into something which is not going right, and they're getting into that state of mind which is actually not helping them to grow in their personal and professional career. And I have been contemplating on how to prepare a particular framework, so that they stay in that particular phase for the least amount of time and they see it as a positive opportunity for both of them. I like to understand your perspective on it, because see, this is one of the most important aspects for not only normal people but even for the people who are very educated, allied, who are at very responsible position, because relationship is as important as the education, health, everything. So what are your thoughts on it? Like how people should manage it?
What I say is that a lot of the time it is less overall. I mean, I think there may be small phase of time and people get like emotional, everyone get attached. If I live in a particular house, I leave that house, I get attached with that house also, which is a non-living thing. But how it works is most of the time why people overstretch in a relationship when it is not working out is because they believe that they have invested a lot of time
already.
Time in it. It is less with respect to the person, because once they know it's not working. Now they say that अभी मैंने इसमें इतना time invest किया, इतनी सारी चीजें invest करी है, तो मैं अब कहीं और पे invest करूंगी, फिर ये करूंगे, फिर समझेंगे, फिर क्या होगा नहीं होगा. So one thing is, because there I believe that just because you have spent a lot of time making a mistake doesn't mean that you have to carry on with it.
That's true.
In life things happen, you try something works, something doesn't work. So first thing is getting that thing out of the head that if you have made a mistake, then you continue to do because you have invested a lot of things. People build business goes down the drain. That doesn't mean that you will not do anything else. And the earlier you work on it, it is better. Whether it's professional or personal. I've seen businesses, people extending their business, hamara, karte raho, knowing that it will die. But still, because you are emotionally so invested into it. So one thing is that. The other thing is the fear of being rejected. Lot of time it's more ego work. अरे यार मुझे reject कर दिया, मेरे को कैसे reject किया, तो मैं reject नहीं, मैं ऐसे करूँगा, वैसे करूँगा. So it's
keep on getting the state where they hurt each other, like they break each other, which is very bad.
So lot of time. And the third thing, specifically with the internet culture, is that accessibility to people, loyalty has decreased. I mean, people are less resilient. I mean, ups and downs will happen in life, but people feel options है, ये है, वो है, तो चलो ये नहीं, so B नहीं तो C. So in general, people focus less on making things work, and they said that try kiya nahi hua, so you're saying which is there. So that is a sad part of today's generation, which is happening. But eventually, I mean, right now the top 3 points are this only. First of all, if you have made a mistake, just don't carry on, because you spend a lot of time, you invested a lot in that, making that mistake. The other thing is, don't keep ego inside. Life is very big. Do not govern life by your limited experiences. मैंने कर दिया, life बहुत बड़ा है. If you think that you are facing the toughest time of your life, you are in the worst situation. There are lakhs and millions of people who are in worse situation than situation. If you are think you are at the happiest moment, you felt happiest with a person, this was the happiest thing that can ever happen, that you are wrong. There are a lot of other things which are more brighter,
going to be more
happier than
better.
that. So you need to realize that you do not govern life by your limited experience. You do not govern life by your past. अगर मैं past में खराब था तो आगे खराब ही होगा, तो ऐसा भी नहीं होता है.
ऐसा नहीं है.
So when you understand this basic concept, that life is much bigger than you and your experiences, both in the good and the bad phases, then eventually you come to realization that okay, things will happen, and eventually if you are honest, humble, and you are genuine, then you will eventually get the right set of person to support you by your side.
That's very well put and very good framework to understand how it works. अरुण, मुझे एक चीज समझनी है कि इंडिया में अभी जो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का ये जो there is sort of wave that's coming in, this like mindset is very addictive, where there's lots of people who are saying that we can create something that will go from India to the world, like from day one. What are your perspectives how these things will move for India in the coming decade, from 2020 to 2040? How is this wave going to move? Because आपके 2008 से बहुत closely connected है. हम लोग तो तब बहुत ही छोटे थे, we used to read about it, but आप closely connected है. We get this bug inside our brain and heart and we see it, but आपने तो वो अंदर से देखा है. I want to get your particular mindset कि ये कहाँ जाने वाला है, ये ट्रेजेक्टरी कैसे होने वाली है एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इकोसिस्टम की इंडिया में, or how it will move forward in this coming 1 and 2 decades, so that youngsters can make a good genuine decision about the careers also when they are thinking about entrepreneurship.
So basically eventually everything will consolidate. The wolves from sheep would be segregated. Okay. Because अभी क्या है ना, फैशन की बात है, अपना कुछ कर दिया, हम प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट देखा नहीं है, ऐसे कुछ किए जा रहे हैं, टीम है नहीं, quality, because I am a part of multiple mentorship things and I go through, I mean, even from very qualified people. Okay. I mean, when I see their business plan and everything, then although I am still at a very nascent stage in order to be called a mentor for startups per se, but at least जो seed stage के हैं, जो bootstrapped हैं, at least I can share whatever experience I have, and the fundamental remains the same. तो पहले fundamentals तो same रहेंगे ना, तो fundamentals are not there, even from the experienced people. So what is happening is either people are just giving the normal traditional businesses, renaming them as a startup कि business है, हम कुछ कर रहे हैं तो startup हो गया, ठीक है, वो एक थोड़ा fancy name ले दिया, cool कर दिया, तो rename कर दिया, fancy name वहाँ पर कर दिया, उसके fundamentals देखे कि नहीं देखे. that 99% of startups are not able to raise any money. जिस तरीके से हम कहते हैं ना, startup India जितने सारे startups, okay, that is good, which is there, but eventually there will be some method to this madness, because people will realize that this is not what it was. अब GMV game खत्म है, all the investors are focusing on unit economics. That's true. They're asking how you are able to generate, are you able to raise capital on credit, are you credit worthy, what if things don't work out, would you be able to sustain, would you be able to take hard calls, because in order to grow people, eventually the basics of the fundamentals of business remain the same, that you have to create value for your stakeholders. You have to create value for the stakeholders. The only thing that startups does is they're trying to create a new space, or they are trying to do it exponentially faster, and that is there is a cost associated with it. But in general, what happens is that cost should be net positive at a particular scale. That's true. And otherwise, if you look into the ROI of the things, तो क्या अपनी टोपी निकाल के अपना नुकसान दूसरे को दे दे, दूसरे में hope we are selling. Valuation game basically. It's a valuation game. So unit economics is very, very critical. So the basic of fundamentals should be there. The working should be there, that it is practically possible to attain that profitability. lot of the businesses that I see right now, कभी उनका profitability आएगा नहीं, ठीक है?
Okay.
वो एक इधर से उधर करके चलते रहेगा, तो hopefully if they pivot a lot, that will happen. So eventually it will get consolidated. Business fundamentals will reign because it will reign. Yeah, startup funding would be there, new avenues would come, but the burn mentality, the burn keyword would
That's
be a
not
big negative connotation. अगर आप बोलोगे burn कर रहे हैं, इतना कर रहे हैं, इतने लंबे period के लिए कर रहे हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा कर रहे हैं, so that would be a red flag for investors. So people will understand that they have to build it organically. They have to be very frugal with respect to cost in order to make it happen.
Understood. What are those industries, Arun, अभी कि कोई entrepreneur ऐसा deep dive करना चाहते हैं कि next 5-10 years, what are those industries that have good, profitability associated, and they can actually build it from India and create global markets? Because in last 5 years we have seen some of the startups that have done phenomenally good, like D2C emerge हुआ है, and there's lots of a cloud kitchen space has also evolved. अभी कहाँ trajectory जा रही है with all this crypto, metaverse, and like lots of other things that are going on?
See, I think agriculture is still needs a lot of you can say optimization.
Technology.
So see how you need to look into the problem perspective. I mean, I'm not talking about logistics. India's GDP 14%, developed countries GDP 6 to 8% logistics spend of the percentage of GDP. So there is a 6 to 8% delta. So delta जिधर सबसे बड़ा delta है, that means वो सबसे ज़्यादा pain है. वहीं पर सबसे ज़्यादा option है, probability है improvement की. So these are the segments. So agriculture, logistic I've talked about because I'm from the domain, but if talking about other domains, so I think agriculture requires a lot of, whether it is agriculture supply chain, yes, whether it is agriculture supply chain, whether it is improvement of the quality, whether it is with respect to the pilferage damage which happens with respect to goods, whether it's with respect to productivity and other things. So I think agriculture is something through multiple domains would be like would always be the flavor. See, these are fundamental. आपको खाना है. No matter how much technology evolves and anything evolves, you will need to eat.
Understood.
It is there. And population is increasing, cultivatable land is decreasing, people are less focused towards agriculture, so that is ripe for disruption. A lot of people are working on it, but I think that would be there. And apart from that, I think blockchain would evolve. I'm not talking about cryptocurrency in specific, but I think blockchain is technology. Blockchain as a technology would significantly evolve. And
like is it something like कि जैसे digital payments का जैसे था in 2010-12 when it was still emerging, is 2022 that time for blockchain? Is it?
So I believe blockchain
will become a household thing after 10 years.
Blockchain would be the, I mean, basic default way of working in multiple segments. So I think blockchain has got multiple use cases, and till now it still shows merit and health that it will survive. Who knows what happens in future, but as of now there are reasons to believe that it would be successful. And I think that international trade is something, despite being multiple. One of our investors is Flexport, which is almost a $9.2 billion enterprise. So, but I feel that international trade, because a lot of shipping happens and everything happens, whether it's with respect to credit period for importers, exporters, that digitization, that real-time visibility, there's still very big lag. Despite multiple startups there, despite having multiple big shipping lines, credit terms, and the world works on import and export. Irrespective
very
of
big
the
driver in economies of countries.
Everywhere. So if someone is importing, someone is exporting. So the ratio might differ. Someone will be big exporter, someone will be big importer. But that particular domain, despite the huge numbers, is still very manual, still very manual. Very low tech. I will not say no tech, but very low tech. I think that is with respect to finance, with respect to visibility, with respect to documentation, it is evolving, but far behind the expectation.
Understood. It's like lots of, but the overall time is very optimistic for entrepreneurship. Like at the people who are still into college, if they're thinking of making it a full time for next 2-3 years, it's a very good way to think about career?
What I'll suggest is, unless I mean, it is my perspective, unless until you have got something very innovative, you have really worked hard on particular thing which is there, then you can think of going, and you have a team, then you can think of going ahead directly. But I would suggest that you can always join a startup for 1 or 2, 3 years, because that gives you lot of perception. I mean, how exactly? I mean, it's a totally different ball game altogether. Totally different ball game altogether. So those people who are not very sure or do not have a, very innovative idea upfront, the proxy to startup would be joining a startup. So join a startup, work in it, you'll understand the nuances. Then if you feel that this is something which excites you, then until the time you build a case for it, whatever you want to do, find a problem statement, try to see that if you're able to build a solution for it, which is feasible also, economically viable also, and you can earn money on it.
That's true. Arun, you're also part of like VP of the 500 MBA Club, where you give insights to enterprising young individuals to pursue an MBA. I like to understand, for me, MBA has been the mindset shift in my personal life. But say if we want to put this message to lots of young people, why they should invest in a full-fledged curriculum, which is an MBA, and why it's a very good investment.
See, I'll just give an example. So first of all, everything depends. I mean, a lot of it depends upon from the institution which you are doing.
That's true.
That is critical.
That is very.
Not MBA from anywhere. So MBA from a top or reputed B school is important, because it has got the history, it has got the pedigree, it got the right set of people, teachers, students, all stakeholders are relevant.
Yes.
The right set of companies come, right exposure you get, and you build towards it. Just to give you an example, when I did my engineering, I got a package of around 3 lakh, 3,25,000, long back in 2009. So what happened that after 2 years in B school, the package increased 4 times.
4 times.
Example. The package increased 4 times. What happened? Rather, it was a little more than 4 times. So you can say 4 times, just for calculations.
Yeah.
So in those 1-2 years, it is more of a breeding ground where you are exposed to multiple set of things which are required, or the mindset which is required in order to make things happen.
Understood.
So it's not that people say that they talk about people who have not done the MBA still succeeded. All due respect to them, there would be people which are there. But if you look into the broader figure,
ratio,
when we talk about analytics, when we talk about data, so data is more with respect to the overall data. Data doesn't work on exceptions and outliers. There will be outliers in every situation.
That's true.
Which are there. So you will see that the people who have come through a top B school are in general more likely to succeed, because they are groomed that way, they get exposure that way. A person who moves from an engineering college to a particular position, and a person who moves from MBA college, that engineering grad might require 10 years to achieve that position, and MBA grad might reach that position in the first year or the second year, which is there. So that 2 years is an investment, is an opportunity cost which reduces the further time.
Understood.
For 2 years, you get into that, you pay the fees, you leave the job which is there. So there's an opportunity cost with respect to fees, the earning that you were supposed to there. But that basically acts as a trigger, acts as a catalyst for decreasing that time. In general, what happens is, you reach a particular position, people will say, अरे मैं तो 10 साल से कर रहा हूँ, तो मुझे ज़्यादा पता है, और बंदा आपके 1 साल का बंदा वहाँ पर आ गया. लेकिन जब आप उस position पे आ जाते हो, and if you have got that caliber which is there, then you learn faster.
That's true. Learning curve increases a lot.
Most of the things are with respect to opportunity. अगर मुझको opportunity मिलेगी, हो सकता है I might bunker in that, but the chances that I'll try, maybe I'll not do that well now, but probably 1 or 2, 3 times, then I'll become good at it. So what happens is, in reaching that particular phase or particular position or a particular level of skill set, if you do it in a normal way, which will be a slow, gradual way, it will take say 8-10 years. It will take 1 year to do that.
1 year.
So you might not be equal when you join with respect to experience. But since you've got a bigger exposure, then you stretch harder, you stretch faster, you are involved with other people which will help you out, and you grow faster.
Understood.
So that is part and parts of life, and MBA helps you get that exposure, get you to that position where you learn these things in a faster manner. I mean, everything is time bound. The management training period in general, you learn through everything, you get into a position, and eventually you learn. If you are good, you learn. It might take you a little more time, but overall you'll scrap off 8 to 10 years, and that's the difference.
Understood. No, that makes complete sense. And for me, it has been a very growing journey because I joined as a fresher, right? And I realized that there has been a very big delta in me also, because in terms of mindset, in terms of action and everything. So you're very much well structured. That for all aspirants who are willing to join, it's a very good decision. Arun, now we'll rapidly move with rapid fire round because we had like holistic conversation across various parts about your startup journey, about entrepreneurship, about relationships, and other facets. So now we will, go forward with rapid fire round. So the thing is that you'll have to answer these questions without giving a second thought, right? And we have very simple and fun-loving rapid fire round. So the first question here is that who are your top role models that you love to meet in person, that you love to talk with them for 1 hour, that those.
So I'm a diehard Arsenal fan, Arsenal Football Club London.
Okay.
Right now, a match is happening.
Okay.
I'm letting go of it.
Okay.
But I am a big fan of Arsene Wenger. So Arsene Wenger was the former coach of Arsenal, and I really loved his philosophy with respect to building a club while maintaining the finances, building a new stadium. Every year, the top players, he used to sell them off so that they can finance that particular club, and he used to build new players from the academy, from their own academy. So for me, I was really, and taking the blame for it. I mean, people used to say that why aren't we spending? Because you're building a $400 million club stadium, so you need money for that. So I realized that not only the business, the footballing, you can say acumen with respect to the way of playing things, etc., but also getting the financial thing aligned, getting the unit economics right, so that the club is also able to grow with respect to stature, building the youth talent from the very beginning, and managing all of them together and still taking the blame for it, whether it was not his. He's not the owner of the club; he's the coach of the club.
Okay.
So I think taking criticism for things which he should be applauded for.
Understood.
I am like really impressed, and I think that he has done a great job and phenomenal job, which is very difficult to achieve because it's easier to blame other people, but taking that responsibility because you are the leader of the organization and putting the club into a financial position which will sustain for years to come. I can burn the money for 1 or 2 years and say, "Abhi main to 2 saal karke main aage nikal jaunga kisi aur jagah pe."
That's true.
So those fundamentals, and keeping all of these things together, I think Arsene Wenger is the person I'd like to meet
in person and talk.
Yes.
That's great. Like one founder that you love to meet in person and extract all the wisdom from him.
I do not know whether I'll be able to extract. I'm in the position, I'm of the caliber, but Elon Musk is the default. No doubts about it. He's legendary. I cannot compare him with anyone else. No doubts.
Because he has like multiple frames of mind, and he's operating seamlessly across various of his projects. And I don't know how that happens. It's very hard to even do 2 or 3 things. And
probably 4 different people doing 4 things that he did at that particular level would still be an accomplishment, even for the greatest of the great. So I think for me, Elon Musk
he's like Aristotle,
I don't know Aristotle, but I know that he makes things happen.
Aristotle and mix of Aristotle and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo
da Vinci. Yeah, that's true. Because he was also innovator of his time, where some of the industries evolved out of him.
Yes. So the point of, it's not just about innovation. Probably if you would have seen his videos, when that rocket crashed and he put all of his money into it. If it had failed, then everything would have collapsed.
Divorce and personal crisis also.
Other things. So the thing is that, see, in order to be the greatest of the great, there needs to be not a hint. There needs to be some madness. That madness would be there.
There should be madness.
And that madness would not be appreciated by all of the people, and some people would talk shit about it and everything. But talking is different thing, making it happen is different thing, and it cannot happen without that madness, without that energy, without that extreme passion, extreme views. I don't think so. You cannot create. I mean, it's very difficult to create something great and inspiring without that. And so everyone would have some comments on it, but what he has done is probably something uncomparable.
So you may have a worldview, but to actually get that worldview into place, you need to sacrifice a lot and need to outstretch yourself. So that's the inspiration that everyone derives, like entrepreneurs from all stages, all geographies. One Indian startup that inspires you and the Indian startup founder that you would like to meet.
So both are a little different, but the startup that inspires me is Off Business.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what you know.
Yeah.
So Off Business, fun, amazing set of team. I mean, amazing set of founders together. I mean, it's a good teamwork. Very fundamental with respect to business. Their business is not a sexy business, but it's a scalable business. It can be done profitably. Something similar to what Zetwork also does. So Zetwork is also doing well. Off Business is also doing well. So what it does is it gives an example to other people that startup not necessarily needs to burn money in order to get things done.
Understood.
It can be done profitably. Why can't it be done profitably? It can be done profitably. It's all about mindset. So Off Business, Zetwork are something which I feel are like a very good example for other startups. And with respect to startup founder, I am a big fan of Vijay Shekhar Sharma, sir.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there are two points of it. One is, see, he's not an Agarwal or Banya, which is there. So for us, I'm like Arun Pandit. So Pandit लोगों में लोग बोलते हैं आपसे business धंधा नहीं हो सकता आपसे, ठीक है?
Yeah. So, same goes for us also. Like Shah's, like I don't come from a family background. Like you are into business, so I'm like the first one. So he's also similar.
So Vijay Shekhar Sharma, also inspiring figure, full of energy, making things happen, irrespective of ups and downs, very jovial, always smiling.
Yeah.
So, and his success was not an overnight success. It took time building from 191 to then Paytm, then recharges, and so it's not an overnight success. It took time to build those things. So, I eventually, I mean, I would like to meet him one day.
Yeah.
So
yeah. We also use this quote like to inspire the team members. He says, "Go big or go home." So we say that we are operating from home because it's a remote setup. So go big from home.
Superb.
Go
nice, nice flick to it.
Yeah. And your biggest mentor that has been for you in terms of, say, entrepreneurship?
See, entrepreneurship, to be very frank, I have talked to hundreds of people, hundreds of distinguished people, seniors. So I'll not say one person per se. So it is more an assimilation of knowledge from respective leaders, startup founders, from different people, and accumulating it together. So will not be a one person per se. Yeah.
Understood. Your top 3 spaces apart from logistics that will do well in India and where entrepreneurs can focus, or there are good spaces in general in the next 5-10 years.
So I think agriculture, like I mentioned, then the infra domain is ripe for disruption.
Okay.
What infra.market is trying to do, and something similar to what Zetwork is trying to do, the projects, and because they were mostly into hands of bigger corporates like L&T, Tata Projects, etc. But now startups are venturing into it and getting things. And something industrial automation is something that will happen in India, and with the government's policy of promoting local thing, most of the things will get automated, industrialized, upgraded, modernized. So I think production with respect to machinery, different kind of machinery, is the next requirement for the country, and if the requirement, then someone or the other would need to fulfill it. With the increased focus on the Make in India, Made in India. So I mean, I think some startups and other would evolve out of it.
Understood. One message for young people, whether they should go with love marriage or arranged marriage. That's something that's in our industry. So with it, I mean, no, we don't need a subjective answer. We just need one answer. either love or arrange, what they should go forward with?
So if you get a choice, go for love marriage. I mean, no brainer. Yeah.
Love marriage only, and the
If you get a
perspective around it, the reasons around it, like compared to arranged marriage.
See, the thing is that in arranged marriage, eventually you have to build that love, which is there, and you do not know the person. So the probability whether it will happen or not happen, how much time it will take. It's not necessary that you get into love. So at least you get that that advanced thing. At least that person you love. So a lot of things, if it is true love, because right now the definition of love is also very
subjective,
very dizzy in sense. So what people consider love is not love at all. But if it is true love, then it is no brainer, because but eventually in today's world, I wrote a quote at one particular point of time: what you love is yours forever. If it is not forever, then it's not love.
It's not.
So right now it's current love, today's love, at this particular point of time love. Right now loyalty means I am being with one person at one particular point of time. It's not lifelong.
Understood.
So dimensions have changed, thought process have changed. So according to me, if it is true love, it is forever. If it is not forever, it's not love. If it is true love, then there is no other option. Arranged marriage, this marriage, that marriage, that doesn't count. Yeah.
Understood. And Arun, what's your favorite pastime activity? Like where you spending most of your time, apart from like obviously venture building?
So see, I engage with a lot of people, because when I engage with people, I learn a lot. I feel good. Actually, one of my friend, earlier I was always an extrovert, but getting involved in lot of work, lot of things happened. So I basically stopped interacting with people. Very few. Then one of my friend was Major Arvind Vazala, was flying in a helicopter in I think around Siliguri somewhere, and the helicopter got crashed, and he unfortunately got martyred.
Okay.
So at one particular point of time, I realized that I was in Ambala and he was based out of Ambala, and I was for a business. I was heading C8 for Haryana region. So I eventually just moved out of Ambala around 5-10 kilometers, and he dropped me a message that आजा मिल ले. So and I said that अरे मैंने झूठ बोल दिया उसे कि मैं तो यार 50 किलोमीटर आगे निकल गया हूँ, तो अब मैं वापस आऊंगा, ये तो ऐसे करके मैंने वो टरका दिया, ठीक है ना उसको, कि ऐसे करके. And after few months I realized that he was no more.
Okay.
So that was a turning point in my life when I realized that work will happen. And eventually complexities would increase, work level would increase, your capability would also increase. You will never have time.
But वो निकालना पड़ेगा.
If you say time निकालना पड़ेगा. तो इसलिए मैं कहीं पर भी जाता हूँ तो मैं क्या करता हूँ, एक स्टेटस डाल देता हूँ व्हाट्सएप इंस्टाग्राम पे कि मैं इधर जा रहा हूँ, catch up anyone. Wherever I go, I try to meet people. So I meet people because I stretch, because I realize that you never know. You never know, tomorrow I'm there, tomorrow
uncertain times.
So, uncertain times, and you can be the biggest of the person, but if you do not have people by your side, and people who love you, who respect you, who care about you, that is much more valuable than any you can say valuation or money that you have. So in order to build that relationship, you need to be in touch with them, and you also eventually learn a lot from these people. I mean, you learn about their life, you learn about what they are doing, and so after all, we are human beings.
That's true.
Whatever we are earning, whatever we're trying to do, accomplish is more with respect to feeling happy. So I made a point that wherever I go, I drop a message, I update people, and irrespective of how tired I am, how extensive the routine is, at least I try to meet people either on the way to the airport or have lunch or dinner with them and meet them. So this not only creates a feel-good factor for me, and you learn about things, you recollect memories, etc., etc.
Yes.
Indirectly, it also helps build your network.
Understood.
It is there.
Yes.
So lot of things, you get to know people. अब मुझे पता लगा ये बंदा वो कर रहा था, फिर मेरे को कभी help चाहिए तो उससे अच्छा वो कर रहा था. You are able to connect people, you are able to connect the dots.
That's true.
Otherwise, it becomes very difficult. All of a sudden, आपने LinkedIn में देखा वो बंदा वहाँ पर है तो उसे बोला अच्छा मेरा कोई काम कर दिया, मुझे कोई बता दे. That is a separate thing. But once you are in touch with them, you have. So that is a different ball game. So the kind of bonding that you build over that particular period of time is unprecedented.
Understood.
So relationship कनेक्शन अलग बात है, आप कनेक्शन जितने मर्जी बना सकते हो, कनेक्शन आप खरीद भी सकते हो,
हाँ वो खरीद भी सकते हो, that's true.
जो कनेक्शन अलग बात है,
follows को आप
लेकिन
खरीद सकते हो.
जो रिलेशनशिप्स हैं वो रिलेशनशिप्स आर प्राइसलेस. I mean, you'll be surprised to the fact that almost 10-15 people that I know are saying that, sir, आप मुझे ज्वाइन करा लो, मैं सैलरी नहीं लूंगा, आप टेंशन मत लो. And they are saying from the heart. एक तो इधर बोलना ऐसे बोलना होता है ना, I know who's कौन कैसा क्या बोलता है नहीं बोलता है. So that is over a period of time, because they realize that our leader or this particular person, they know that he will keep us first, and whenever there's an opportunity, he will reward us or he will compensate for whatever is there. So that builds over a particular period of time, and a lot of the bigger leaders don't have. They might have the money, but they do not have that kind of, you can say, grip, or you can say relationship, heart to heart connection with them. And eventually, if you do not have a heart to heart connection, how do you aspire to build an aspirational organization without inspirational people?
That's true.
So I firmly believe in the power of relationships, and the relationships are very, very important, but you have to nurture it. बस एक connection request दे दिया वो से नहीं होता है. Whenever they require, need help, you are able to help and support them to whatever capability you have. Connect with relevant set of people. I also miss out on times. मैं अपने archive में डाल देता हूँ, मेरे 40 archive में जिन को मेरे को help करनी है, लेकिन मैं बता देता हूँ कि भी थोड़ा time constraint है, this data, so let me connect with someone. But at least try your best to do that. Your earnest effort, whether it is successful or unsuccessful, at least the thing is that, I mean, in Scenic School, there is a saying, I mean, which is like, which stuck to my heart very, very firmly. कि एक फाइट एक लड़ाई हो रही थी बॉर्डर पे. तो बॉर्डर पे 2 बंदे थे, तो एक बंदे को गोली लग गई, अलग अलग बंकर में थे, वहां से शूटिंग हो रही थी. तो उस बंदे ने बोला, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे को गोली लग गई, और उदित ने बोला कि अरुण को गोली लग गई, अब मेरे को अरुण को मैं जाता हूँ उसे बचाने के लिए. तो आपके कमांडर ने बोला कि आप मत जाओ, वो उसका बचना बिल्कुल मुश्किल है, उसे बहुत ज्यादा गोली लग गई है, बहुत सारी, तो आई डोंट थिंक सो ही विल सर्वाइव, और तुम जाओगे तो एम्बुश में यू आल्सो रिस्किंग योर लाइफ. आई डोंट थिंक सो ही विल बी सेव्ड, आई मीन एज पर हिज एक्सपीरियंस. सो बेसिकली लिटरली एडवाइज देम उदित नॉट टू गो. बट उदित गया, उदित भागा, तूने देखा, उन्हें कवर फायर दिया, उदित किसी तरीके से मेरे पास पहुंच गया. उदित रीच्ड आउट टू मी एंड ही वाज देयर. एंड Udit said कि Udit got emotional, started कहेंगे, अरुण यार मैं तुमको बचा नहीं सका, ऐसे तो बड़ी मुश्किल से ambush fire हो रहा था, तो थोड़ा लेट हो गया. So you know what Arun said?
कि तू आया वही बहुत है.
Udit, I knew you would come. He couldn't save him. He couldn't save him, but he came. He came. I do not know whether you are able to, I mean, other people or the audience are able to understand the magnitude of that
situation.
Magnitude of that emotion, magnitude of that particular thing. I knew you would come. So yeah, I knew you would come. That trust, that is priceless. I mean, क्या करोगे यार आप पैसे का, किस चीज का क्या करोगे अगर आपका आपस में रिलेशनशिप नहीं है. आपका रिलेशनशिप उसने अपने जान पे खेल के आया, जबकि उसे पता था कि वो बचेगा नहीं, उसे पता था कि वो आया. And that person, even who died peacefully, because he know that there was a friend who came and at least tried his level best, irrespective whether he was successful or not.
That's true.
So see, I am a firm believer of emotions. I am a very emotionally driven person. People might feel that ये तो बहुत aggressive है, ऐसा this that, but most of my
humans are like
comes from the heart, and I believe that if I am able to sleep peacefully, I feel that I have done my level best. That is the best reward that I can get. And fortunately, I got good support from all my friends, family, juniors, seniors. Every one of them are rooting for me. They support me. They have encouraged me across the times. कभी ऐसा नहीं होता, कोई भी चीज है वो लोग करते हैं. That is what is driving me, no? So you need to appreciate it. That person might not be a CEO, but that person is there for me.
That's important.
That person is clapping for me, rooting for me for every small win which are there, and all of these small wins eventually turn out to be bigger wins.
Absolutely.
And those small wins, the confidence that they gave, the encouragement that they gave during that particular time, helped me take another step, push harder, and get succeeded in that particular thing, and eventually it spirals down to a bigger venue. So you never forget the people who have helped you, supported you, encouraged you, because that is, I mean, I measure the success of any person in the relationships that they carry.
Understood.
If today you need 100 people, I am confident if tomorrow I call 100 people and say that today I call 100 people that I need you tomorrow at 10 a.m. at my place, please do not ask me, I just need you. I know that 100 people, वो 100 लोग आ जाएंगे, मुझे पता है. But how many people can say कि उनके लिए 10 लोग आ जाएंगे?
That's true.
That is equity.
That's equity.
That is human equity. That human equity is far more, that valuation is far more than any place. You'll find people with multiple people, उनके 2 लोग नहीं आएंगे काम के टाइम पे.
नहीं, that we realized during COVID also. वो हमने देखा.
Yes.
Very closely we observed in COVID. It was very hard time, and that was the point where we realized that when life and death की बात चल रही है, then what's the situation? Who are your people and what's happening around? And you're very perfectly kept it. For me personally, when I came in touch with you over LinkedIn platform, I saw you as a big brother because इतने parallels बन रहे थे in multiple facets, like your work for entrepreneurship, you into IIFT campus, and lots of your nuggets of wisdom, motivation, Robin Sharma, all. And I was like, this is ये मेरे big brother जैसे extension है, right? So that was the first thought, and I was like, let me just get in touch with him and let me just ask him कि क्या चल रहा है, how is it, because lots of parallels, and I thought like ये तो big brother जैसे extension है. And what I realized is कि this is 10x more energetic, 10x more humble, 10x kind, and no attitude, and authentic. So I was completely blown off कि यार ये ऐसा हो नहीं सकता कि same college के same लोग at a senior level इतने बढ़िया कर रहे हैं. And it's like humbling for me today to have you on Ador Loveshots Conversation.
You are being too kind.
नहीं, I am telling what I realized at that point when I got to learn about you, and that was the mindset. Again, I never got this chance to interact and tell in person, but that was the mindset कि इतने parallels है, and he's 10x more energetic, and I saw you through situations in last 1.5 years, and like very ups and downs, like personal में ये सारी situation, but the way you gracefully handle it with lots of energy, enthusiasm, and you keep beating every day, lots of inspiration from you, like lots of inspiration, positivity.
Appreciated. If I can add any value in anyone's life, then it is, I mean, see, eventually, I mean, probably you'll not believe it. I mean, a lot of time people ask me, why do you want to do it? So why do you want to be successful? So I say, I want to be successful so that I can make other people successful.
That's true.
So, I mean, that is a part of life. I mean, if you're able to inspire people from any particular phase, I mean, inspiring, giving your time is sometimes much more valuable than probably any money or monetary help that you can do, because like I always say, sometimes one thought, one moment, one conversation can change your life. One can change your life. So it is very critical, and you should, if you have the capability to do that, if you have the capability, if you have the knowledge or skill set to share with other people, that means God has blessed you with something.
That's true.
अगर आप पे capability है उतनी चीजों की, like I read a quote which said that I was crying of having no shoes until I saw a man without feet. ठीक है? तो अगर आप में वो capability, then you are fortunate, you are blessed that you have got the capability, and it is your moral duty to pass that on.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. No, that's like lots of learnings that we have received, not only from professional side but also from personal side during my tenure at IIFT. Like the way I was in the personal mindset, वो भी change हुआ, because I saw leaders who are like way more smarter, but at the same time also humble, helping and supportive in my senior batch, in my batch. And that is something that ऐसा नहीं है कि मुझे immediate effect मिलता है उसका. It's a lifelong thing that I carry with me.
See, the people, one of my mentors, my seniors, Mr. Nitish Bajaj, who is the CEO of Piramal Group.
Okay.
So when you see people who are at the top of the field and who are humble, you know what happens? They have learned the meaning of life.
Understood.
They have learned the meaning of life. Through success over a period of time, because they understand. अभी जैसे तो ना aggression होता है, ये नहीं कर रहा, इसको ये समझ नहीं आ रहा, उसको वो नहीं आ रहा. I also do that. I've got a lot to learn. But when I used to go to him multiple times, हर बार मैं कुछ ना कुछ कर रहा, I think I'm doing it perfectly, I'm doing better than my capability, this, that, XYZ. उनको दिख रहा है कि नहीं है, because he learns, he is at a different level. He understands what I don't understand, but I feel that I've given my best. So even going to him multiple point of times, तो हर बार आके he never showed कि तो ना कि जैसे हमको कहते हैं यार क्या हो रहा है यार, फिर करके ले आया गलत, फिर every time with humbleness, with peacefulness, with calmness, guiding. So that is as the top notch capability of a leader also lies in handling criticism, being calm during restless period, unwanted circumstances, and how to be very peaceful. And that is something which I also need to learn a lot, but eventually that's in my to-do list.
There are lots of inspiration for us and for entire IFT family. IFT is like a family for everyone. It's a very supportive community and institution. And वो जो आप लेके जाते हो mindset वहाँ से after getting in touch with smarter minds, वो intangible, right? Because you can't put it in words. That's like they stand with you, they know you in and out, and they're there for you. Like no matter आप क्या ups and downs है, they will be your lifelong supporters. So I think that it's one of the best investments for anyone to do, like MBA from top 10 B schools, especially from IFT. And it's quite humbling today to learn and get so much insights from you, Arun. Wishing you and the entire team a lots of success in the coming year and
thank you very much.
Decade.
Means a lot.
Means a lot. Have a very happy Diwali. And it's like
honor
to have you and spend so much time discussing about everything today. It's like complete
appreciated.
Honor. Thanks
appreciated,
a lot.
humbled and honored.
Thanks a lot for joining.
Okay, thank you. Best of luck for your startup.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Take care. Bye everyone.
Bye.